I was 21 years old when I was told to expect complete disability within about 10 years. Talking with my neurologist and going over the MRI that I had just completed, she told me that the lesions that I specifically had on my brain and upper spine were very predictive of a particular type or style of progression. Now, she didn't tell me these things to scare me. She wasn't a bully. She was a very intelligent, well-educated neurologist. And based on what she knew, she wanted me to be prepared. I remember sitting there in the doctor's office holding my little girl who was just a baby and thinking of my loved ones and prepare? How do you prepare for what you are told is inevitable? And at the time, this little girl was only about one. Her name is Clara, and she just turned 19 this year. So I was sitting there hearing all of this and thinking, what does this mean for her? And I don't think anything really prepares you for that moment because it's not just about you anymore when you get a diagnosis like that. It's about the life that you thought you were going to have and whether or not you're still going to be able to live it. And for a while, I kind of accepted it. Like, okay, I guess this is going to be what I deal with. This is my life. But something in me didn't fully settle with that because now, almost 20 years later, I'm still walking, I'm still active, and I'm living my life. And it's not because I got lucky or the doctor was wrong. Honestly, what changed was really pretty simple. I stopped trying to fight my body and I started trying to understand it. And I don't know if you've ever felt like this, but there was a point where I was trying to do everything right. Eating better, taking supplements, doing all the things people said would help, actually using the prescriptions that I initially tried out. And I remember thinking, why do I feel worse? Like, you're trying and it's not working. That's a really frustrating place to be. And not a lot of people talk about that part. And I want to share something else too, because this was a big part of my journey. I did go the medical route, like I just mentioned with the prescriptions. I followed what I was told to do, and I stayed consistent with it for years, trying different things. And for me personally, I didn't feel like it was helping. And in some ways, I actually felt worse. I was getting worse. And I know that's not everyone's experience, but it was mine. And that's part of why I started looking deeper, not to reject everything, but to understand more. Because what I started realizing was this: there isn't just one cause, and there definitely isn't just one solution. The body is dealing with a lot: nutrition, deficiencies, inflammation, the environment, stress. It's layers. And my body wasn't broken, it was overwhelmed. It was trying to keep up with everything, and it just couldn't. And a lot of what I was doing at the time was actually adding more pressure to a system that was already struggling. So instead of doing more, I started pulling back a little and asking, what does my body actually need right now? Food was the first place I looked, not in a strict or overwhelming way, just, is this helping my body or making things harder? And I started making small changes, implementing more real foods, more produce, things that were easier to process for my body, but weren't processed foods. Nothing extreme, just more supportive. Same thing with supplements. I realized my body wasn't just struggling randomly, it was missing things. Nutrients it needed to regulate, to repair, and to function. But I also learned this the hard way. More isn't always better. I remember a point where I had so many supplements, I didn't even know what was helping anymore. And honestly, my body just felt more stressed trying to keep up with everything. So I started being more intentional, supporting my body with what it actually needed instead of overwhelming it. Then I started looking at my environment and thought about some of the things I'd never thought about before, the products I was using and what I was exposed to pretty much every day, just in my home, in my work, in my life. And when I started reducing the load of the things I noticed that were overwhelming me, it made a difference. And then there was just how I was living in general. I was pushing through everything, stress, fatigue, just going all the time. And my body never really got a chance to settle. I remember nights where I would finally sit down and I just couldn't relax. Like I was physically still, but internally still so tight. And I didn't understand that back then, but now I know. My nervous system didn't feel safe yet. And if this is you, that doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Over time, you could be like me, where you'll stop trying to fix everything all at once, but just start working through things step by step, supporting your body like I did. I had to support my body first and then build from there. And I want to be really honest with you about something. What I teach, what I've put into my book, it's not the easiest path. I did publish my first book, guys. So if you want everything that we talk about in one consolidated thing that you can hold or read, you can get it on Amazon. It's an ebook, paperback, or hardback. I'm super excited about it. You guys should check it out. But there are real changes that happen when you implement what I have taught in my book and in these videos. The way you eat, the way you support your body, the routines that you build, it's not the standard way most people are living. There are supplements, there's a schedule. You're going to be eating more real food and more produce and more things that actually support your body. And for a lot of people, that's a big shift. But I've also been on the other side of this. I've had moments where I started noticing things slipping, where I didn't feel as stable walking, and where I was tripping more often, and where I started losing feeling in my legs, my feet, my hands, numbness, tingling, pain that's coming from nowhere that you can identify. And that's a scary place to be because you start wondering, is this the beginning of the decline? Is it? And I want to be careful here. I'm not promising anything. I can't tell you exactly what your body will do, but I can tell you this. There are real people who have made these changes and seen real improvement. And for me personally, I'm about to turn 40, just turned 39, and I'm doing well. I'm feeling pretty good in my body. I'm moving. I'm living my life. And that didn't happen by accident. It happened through consistently trying, through choosing to support my body even when it wasn't convenient. And yes, this is more than most people are used to. It's different, but that doesn't make it impossible. It just makes it intentional and it makes it worth it because you are worth it. And this isn't just about multiple sclerosis. I've seen this apply to so many autoimmune situations where people feel stuck and their body just feels so out of control. That's why I share this, That's why I make these videos, and that's why I wrote my book, to take everything I've learned and make it simpler for people like you, so you don't have to figure it out the hard way. If you've been trying and it feels like it's just not working, that doesn't mean you failed. It might just mean your body needs a different kind of support. Your body isn't broken. It's trying to protect you. You just have to be shown the right way to support it. This is it. This version of your new you is what you've been looking for. Get the book. And if you can't, watch the videos. Check out my website. I just got it started, and I'm going to be adding information and articles and research that will be helpful to you. Check it out. It'll be in the link below, along with a link to get my book if that interests you. But either way, keep coming back. We're going to keep learning, and we're going to make some real changes so that you can feel good again. See you in the next one.